since I'm not feeling like doing anything for college or for my future at all, I'm back already with our third part of the rankings of the Beyblade Metal Saga. This time Beyblade Metal Fury. So let's get straight into it. Last time, this is how we ended off Beyblade Metal Masters. This was the top 10 in the last episode, Galaxy Heart. And now we head straight into episode 103, Star Fragment, where we're just gonna keep everything as it stands, but without Faust, of course, because he's no longer Faust. He's back to Toby. He's just fine again. So Ryuga jumps up to first, Jinga second, Kyoya third. All the rest stays the same. Klaus figures back in the top 10, not for long though. Episode 104, Legendary Bladers, we start meeting Johannes, who is someone sent by the dark, the bad guys, to just try and ruin the plans of the good guys. But we don't see him battle yet. However, in episode 105, the Monster Cat Lynx, we do see him battle, and we're gonna jump him straight into 6th place. It might be a little bit too high, but he seemed real talented. They had a lot of mechanics to help him out in battle, and Jinga had a tough time with him. And I think he would beat someone like Julian at this point in the saga. Episode 106, El Drago Destructor. Our friends go to that, lost island there. I don't know how to call it. English is not my mother language. If you guys haven't seen it, haven't paid attention at it yet, but it was an island there where they found Ryuga, and in this episode Kyoya battled him, but Ryuga just no-diffs him. Not no-diffs him, but low-diff. He was very convincingly better, and that just solidifies him even more in first place. And episode 107, Awaken Anobius even more, because Ryuga beats Jinga as well. Not happy with only beating Kyoya, who was top 3 at this point. He beat the top 2 as well. Jinga did give him a way better fight than Kyoya, but still wasn't enough. Ryuga stays first. Episode 108 is basically Jinga and Kyoya, a bit bridged up by their losses and practicing, so nothing really changes. At this point, we have found out that Yuki is a legendary blader as well, but he's just not a good blader. At this point, at least, he's just not a good blader, so he's not even beating Nile there. Episode 109, Kenta's determination, nothing changes either. Kenta is just deciding to go after Ryuga, and I have to say that these rankings of the third season were by far the easiest ones, not only because there are less episodes, but because there are a lot less interesting bladers introduced, because it's basically the legendary bladers and 1 or 2 who are not. And in episode 110, we find out the Crimson Flash is a guy that seems really powerful. They're trying to chase after him, and they don't really find him in this episode. But in the greatest tag team battle, episode 111, we have that tag team tournament, and we find out that that guy is Bao, and he has a partner called Aguma. But still, we haven't seen a lot of him yet. It's just, he could totally figure there above Nile, Jack, even Tsubasa, but it's just, okay, he beats Mei Mei and Xiaoxin, but I don't even bother putting him there, because lately we will see, of course, that he's not even a legendary blader, and he would eventually fade away with the rankings, so I'm not even going to bother putting him there. Episode 112, A New Roar. That's the episode where we have Kyoya versus Johannes, and Kyoya discovers a new special move. He's just formed a new special move, and he's finally understanding the power of his new Bay, and we're going to jump him above Jinga at this point, up to second. However, in episode 113, Cosmic Tornado, we're going to jump Jinga back ahead of Kyoya because he found a special move as well. So as Jinga said in the first episode of this season, if Kyoya becomes stronger, Jinga will become even stronger. However, he's not second though. We're going to put Aguma up to second. It might be a little bit too high, but come on. He beat Kyoya, of course. Kyoya wasn't expecting that move. He was trying to fight Bao, while we found out that Aguma was actually the legendary blader. But still, it was a very destructive power, so we're gonna put him in second. Could definitely be third or fourth. At this point, we don't know quite how strong he is, but he's definitely in that top 4. And in episode 114, the God of Saturn Coronas, we have the final of the tournament. It's Aguma and Bao versus Jinga and Yuki. And finally, Yuki does something, but still, I don't think he would beat someone like Jack at this point. It just wasn't, it just wasn't that good. He's starting to find his way to be a blader, but it's still not enough to figure him in the top 10. However, Jinga had a great battle against Aguma, and of course, I feel like the only reason Jinga didn't win this battle was because Aguma's partner was way more skilled than Jinga's partner. So definitely we could have Jinga ahead of Aguma there, but because Aguma's moves were so destructive, I'm gonna put him in second at this point. Episode 115, Showdown at the Tower of Babel. We have that fight between Ryuga and Tsubasa, and Tsubasa discovers that Kent is after Ryuga, but nothing changes in the ranking. Episode 116, the new team dungeon, we meet Toby and Zio again. They have new base, they battle Tsubasa, but they aren't that good. I mean, they were battling 2v1 and they didn't even beat Tsubasa, so stays the same. In episode 117, we're introduced to the Destroyer Dome tournament, with the first battle being Tsubasa, Toby, and Zio qualifying in a battle against the Team Garcia, who are back, and nothing's gonna change either. Toby and Zio, they're pretty good, but I don't know how good. Definitely not as good as Tsubasa at this point. And because Tsubasa is still in a similar level to what Jack was, they had a great battle in the very last arc of Metal Masters. We're not gonna put Toby and Zio in the top 10. However, in episode 118, it just compensates all the lack of changes in the top 10 in the last few episodes, because this time we have 3 new bladers. I mean, 2 new bladers and 1 comeback, who is Masamune on the new Strikers Complete. Masamune shows he has a lot more power now that he has a new striker, and we are introduced to Jigsaw, who looks like a big threat. He destroyed everyone the second battle of the Destroyer Dome, except for Masamune and King, who figures there in 7th. King and Masamune were battling heavily the whole battle, so they were pretty equal, we could say. I'm gonna put Masamune up there because at this point we know more about Masamune than about King, and we know Masamune has that new mode change, so at this point he's still ahead. But lately we're gonna know that King is actually the champion and the legendary blader, because in episode 119 he's gonna jump up to 5th place, jumping both Masamune and Jigsaw, and we're gonna just drop Jigsaw so much now, because even though he's a pretty skilled blader, he also defeated Jack in the last episode, I must say that. And funny enough, the episode that Jack was reintroduced was the episode where he was left out of the top 10. Just coming back there, just to show that. So Masamune stays sick. He had a great battle with King. He was definitely the second strongest there in that tournament, and Tsubasa was the third. It's just fair that they fit this order. Jigsaw down to 4th in the tournament and 8th in the rankings. In episode 120, the Maze of Mist Mountain, we are finally introduced to Ryuto. We have him battle Jinga in the undergrounds of the Mist Mountain. And even though Jinga comes out on top, Ryuto did give him a great fight, so we're gonna jump him up to 8th place. We're gonna introduce him actually in 8th place. Episode 121, we have the battle between Kyoya and Aguma, and that's gonna jump Kyoya above Aguma. And of course, I'm gonna jump Jinga above Aguma as well. As I said, Jinga could probably be ahead of Aguma already, and Kyoya hasn't really practiced much since the Toriumon Championship tournament. So, is he clear of Jinga at this point? No, he's not even better, I don't think. Maybe same level. But as long as Kyoya did beat Aguma, which we already expected, given that he only lost because he wasn't paying attention at Aguma, I'm gonna jump Jinga above Aguma as well. In episode 122, the Guardian of the Temple, we meet Dynamis, who is, of course, the Guard of the Temple. Well, who would have guessed? Huh? I don't know. He beats Ryuto and he was about to beat Jinga, but he didn't really want to beat Jinga. He just wanted to show them and test them and see if they were good people and they wanted to save the world or destroy it. And he's just really strong. We're gonna jump him up to 2nd. Definitely could be 3rd. I mean, Jinga always finds a way to beat a new opponent, but Dynamis seems like a very, very skilled blader with a lot of power, a lot of moves that control the space itself, and that would be really hard for Jinga or Kyoya to get across. So we're gonna put Dynamics up to second. Episode 123, just all the same, it's just a continuation of the arc. As well as the episode 124, the 4-season Bladers, Dynamics keeps telling them the stories. However, in episode 125, we do have changes. King jumps above Aguma because he beats him in the Bay Star Island tournament. And King is real strong, man. He could definitely fit even above Jinga or Kyoya, or even Dynamics, who knows. He's really strong, but we're gonna keep him 5th. I mean, we saw Kyoya beat Aguma, and King did the same thing, so it's just fair they figure together. Episode 126, things start to real change now. 2 big fierce battles. We have King versus Ryuga and Jinga versus Kenta, and we're gonna have Kenta appearing back in the top 10. Finally, I mean, since the very start of Metal Masters, he was out of the rankings, and now he's back. He gave Jinga a real good fight, and we're gonna put him up to 8th. I think he's stronger than Tsubasa at this point. Meanwhile, King had a great battle against Ryuga, and I think, come on, King deserves it. He's been putting up great performances, and he gave Ryuga a greater battle than I think, definitely than Kyoya did, and I think better than Jinga did back in the volcano. So we're gonna figure him above Jinga at this point. Episode 127, the Unseen Opponents. We see the final battle of the Bay Star Island tournament between Masamune and Chris, new character, and we're gonna put him up to 6th. He awakens as a legendary blader, he beats Masamune, and he showed an incredible level of power. So I think it's fair that he is there. It could be a little bit above, but Masamune is not a legendary blader, and he gave his all to beat Masamune. So, I mean, probably he would lose to the other 5 guys. Episode 128, everything stays the same. However, in episode 129, I'm finally happy again. I can finally rest in peace, because Yu is back, and Yu is stronger than ever. And he's gonna be 9th place in the rankings right here, because he practiced it. He went on a journey alone to become stronger, and he did, as he battles Kyoya and gives Kyoya a great fight. Kyoya was probably gonna win it, but we are not sure about that, because before they could finish the battle, Titi just appeared and, just stopped their battle. And in episode 130, we find out that Titi is actually the last legendary blader they were chasing. He's the 9th legendary blader, the 5th legendary blader of the solar system, and we're gonna put him up to 8th place as he battles you and beats you. So I think it's just fair that he's ahead of you, obviously, and I'm gonna put him ahead of Masamune as well, because of course he's still a legendary blader, so they have that extra credit. Episode 131, though, I cry again, because Kenta, not because of Kenta, of course, but because Yu is out of the rankings, and Kenta is back in the rankings. He's up to 9th, Masamune down to 10th. This is the battle, of course, the episode of the battle between Ryuga and Kenta had definitely his best battle ever since the first episode back in Metal Fusion. He could even damage El Drago Destructor, so he just deserves the credit to be up there. In episode 132, they finally enter the Dark Guys, just place there, the pyramids in Mexico, and nothing changes in the rankings because they haven't had any major battles there. In episode 133, the battles finally begin, and as they finally come to a close, everything changes now. Rago takes 1st place as we finally meet Diablo Nemesis and the God of Destruction, and come on, he just has the power of every single legendary blader, so he immediately jumps up to 1st. Ryuga finally gets demoted of his king spot. We're gonna drop Dynamis down as Kyoya beat him. Of course, Dynamis wasn't in his full control of, he was dominated by that dark power, but still, he used the abilities of Jade Jupiter, and at this point we just realized, okay, the 4 season bladers, they just have a bit more than the solar system, because the solar system bladers, of course, they are descendants. They were chosen by their family lane. Meanwhile, the four season bladers are chosen to for the present and future. They are chosen to decide what's gonna happen now. So they have just that little bit of something extra, and that's why we're gonna jump up Chris to 5th. And even though he lost to Jinga, he had a great battle against Jinga. He showed how strong he is, and he just deserves to be there alongside the other four season players. Episode 135, still just continuation of the arc. Episode 136, after they just getting the temple destroyed back in Mexico and running away, all legendary bladers are teaming towards the Lost Island to just battle and end Nemesis destruction desire once and for all. But nothing changes in the rankings here. And in episode 137, nothing changes in the positions as well, but in the power rankings, jeez, is Ryuga strong? He just showed he's so ahead of every single other normal blader. But sadly, he was battling a god and he never had any chance of winning. And that's why he just loses here to Rago as the other legendary bladers come. And in episode 138, they start the battle against Diablo Nemesis. But of course, they are lacking one legendary blader. But it won't be for long because Ryuga awakens for one last sacrifice and passes the power from Eldritch Destructor to Kenta's Flame Sagittario, transforming it in Flesh Sagittario. And that's going to grant Kenta the 7th place spot there. He's going to jump up, of course. Ryuga's not there because at this point his power is Kenta's in a way. And Jinga is up to 2nd now. Kenta, I think, could be 6th maybe, but we're going to leave him in 7th. And as in the 10th place spot, we're going to just put joint Masamune, Yu, and Tsubasa because they're all fighting real heavily to help the legendary players. And let's be honest, these guys, they were done justice in this final battle. They really helped out. Remember, they lasted more than the Solar System bladers. They were the ones who actually broke the dome, the Dark Dome, because the Solar System bladers attacked Nemesis directly and got destroyed, and that just opened the door for these three to break the dome. So they were actual heroes. They were done justice here, and it's nothing more fair than to put them there. Jinga, Kyoya, Chris, and Kenta finally form Zeus barrier after that, and they once and for all, or not, seal Nemesis within Zeus barrier, finishing that battle. However, in episode 140, Hades' persistence, we just see that a piece of Dark Hell just broke the damn thing, damn Zeus barrier, and that just, saved Nemesis again. I don't know, Goddess Destruction Reborn, powerful, 1st place, demon, nothing changed in the rankings. He just, Rago became that thing there. I don't know. But in episode 141, A Ray of Hope, of course, Jinga just inhales the power of every single Bay and Blader in the world, and that makes him even stronger than the God of Destruction itself. And that's gonna move Jinga up to 1st. In the last episode, in that very moment of that last battle, Jinga is the strongest blader in the world and levels above anyone else. And that's gonna be how we finish technically the rankings in the last episode. Of course, the moment Jinga is not with the power of anyone and Nemesis is destroyed, Jinga just goes back to his final form, but he would to his previous form, and he would still be 1st, Kyoya up to 2nd and all. But I decided to make a definitive ranking, which I think is just a little bit more useful, which is all the forms, every single one, just considering it all. So full power Jinga with the help of everyone would be 1st, as we saw before, followed by the God of Destruction, then Ryuga, then just base form Jinga, and the other ones following the previous order that we saw before, with Kenta there being in Legendary Bladers still in the top 10. So that's how we're gonna stand. Of course, you guys can choose last episode or definitive ranking, which one you want to, just consider it at the end. Just bear in mind that Jinga won't keep that power, his base form, is always going to be weaker than Ryuga and Nemesis, but of course Nemesis is beaten now, so, and Ryuga is just, you know, dead. Not quite, but you guys, I mean, sort of video on that in a moment, maybe I will, I don't know. Anyways, guys, this video takes so long to make, and I'm so glad I'm ended with it. Not, of course, I'm gonna be making other contents in here, but those rankings things per episode are so long to make all the templates and to make the commentary over all of them, plus editing everything that I say wrong, and you know, I have other stuff in life, so it really takes a while. So I hope you guys can just share it to your friends, everyone who likes Beyblade. If you can like and subscribe, I would really appreciate, and comments down below what you think about it, if you agree or disagree with my takes, so that all my time here wasn't wasted, because I really like this show and wanted to make good content about it. And of course, I really want to make even better content, because this is, as I said, it takes a lot of work. So I can definitely recognize it's not the best video ever. I'm barely editing it, because the pre-video is the hardest part here, to just make the templates and just think every single position through. That's what is really takes some time to do. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Take care.